My name is Adam Baird. I am an actor. And
my name is Courtney, and I am a local actress and headshot photographer.
We've been friends for a really long time.
Have.
So we've asked several of you guys to send in your headshots so that we can look at them and review them and talk about why we like some more than we like others. Today we are reviewing your headshots.
I think this will just give us a good chance to kind of look at what we like in a headshot and also like what makes a headshot that's really going to stand out in a casting call or in an audition.
I think I'm really going to value your opinion because you're a photographer and you take headshots. As an actor, I feel like I can view and see which ones I like more than others.
Yeah, maybe not necessarily know why you like one more than another.
I'll be like, this one looks good to me, and so this will be good. So why don't we start with who's this person right here?
So this is Janelle.
Uh-huh.
We have two headshots from Janelle that we're going to take a look at.
So this is headshot number 1.
Shot number 1.
And then headshot number 2.
Yep.
So first impressions, it's a little dark. I think her hair right here kind of blends in a little bit. And I like this hair light back here, but especially over here, I can't see the shape.
I really love like the pose. I love her expression. It's really, really engaging. I just think, same thing. Her hair is so dark that it blends in with the background. Other one is definitely better in that respect because it has the hair light. In terms of like this pose, this expression, I'm a huge fan of this shot in particular. If it had the hair backlighting, I would say this would be my favorite.
I just want to mention that she has really beautiful eyes. Oh, yeah. Like her brown eyes, you know? I feel like just the dark background is like pulling away from her beautiful eyes. I don't know. Like I wish there was maybe a little bit more contrast. This one right here seems a little cropped funny to me.
And this is just something that I've noticed recently. There's tends to be a little bit of a fad, more dramatic headshots being off-centered.
I know, but which one is the least favorite?
I think if she had to pick one that was just like, you know what, this is just not usable ever. I mean, I think they're both usable.
Yeah.
But I would say probably the first one for the same reason. But the editor in me, or the photographer in me, just wants to like go into this headshot and just change a few things, and then it would be perfect, you know.
Right.
But because it lacked that, I would have to say that this one is not my favorite one.
I would have to agree. I really like the warmth found in this one, but with just the line and everything, this one's not my favorite. I would have to go for this one. Yours?
Yeah. Oh.
Should we do
you? These are mine.
Okay. These are...
Now, these are from all different time periods. Well, some of them are from the same session.
So let's first flip through your headshots. And while we do this, do you want to talk about why you've chosen to put your name at the bottom here?
Sure. So I think it was last year we had a casting director come to our showcase at New York Showcase. She was a casting director in New York, and when she was looking at our headshots, she gave us a few pointers, and she suggested putting our names at the bottom of the headshot, just because it made it really easy for a casting director just to know who's who without having to, flip it over and look at their resume or say anything like that. So it made it easier for them. So she just suggested that we do it, and so I was like, well, this is a New York casting director, so I'm gonna take her advice. And so I went ahead and put my name on it.
So it's just for utility, right? Just to make it easier for them?
Generally speaking, that's to my knowledge, yeah.
Also because it could possibly get separated from your resume.
That's true.
Right?
Too.
And then they won't be able to find your name. As well as if you're putting these online, then like when people download them to your computer, they can't really pair it with a resume super easy, right?
That's
so
very true.
I think that was the two reasonings behind it. It isn't necessary, but I think it's definitely like a valid option. Yeah. This one's kind of mostly in my field, because you might be partial to which ones you like the best. I really like this one though.
Yeah.
Like every time I come back to this one, it looks really good. Did they add like a blurring post Or was it just like a really short depth of field?
No, that was just a really shallow depth of field. I've heard several casting directors say that they want the entire head of the headshot to be in focus. Personally, I think this is a little too shallow.
Really?
I think you want a little bit more of my hair to be in focus. And I've since learned this since these were taken.
I feel like your hair is such a big part of your presence.
Yeah.
This one and this one I feel like really feature that. This one, not so much. It does obviously, like, your hair is going to be featured in all of them. I really like your eyes in this one. I feel like the only thing in focus is your face right here. Mm-hmm. I think I would like this one better if your body was also in focus.
Mm-hmm. It kind of, it reminds me a little bit too much of like the newer iPhone Android portrait mode.
Yeah. So what about this one? This one kind of takes me back. Like, I don't, like, why does this sort of take me back to like my younger years? I don't know. Is it because of the lighting? I don't know.
Like, do you think I look younger in it?
I think you look younger. I don't know. I don't know if this one's my favorite, to be honest. Me, personally, I'm not a huge fan of, like, the from top down look. Mm-hmm. I
like that really extreme angle.
Right. You are being overpowered by the camera.
Yeah.
If it was you looking down on the camera, that'd seem a little bit, like, forceful, right? Yeah. I don't know if you necessarily want that.
And
but
it's not a super flattering angle either. This tends to be more flattering, but
yeah.
It does, if it's overdone, it looks a little MySpace-ish.
I think the reason why looking up is more flattering is because of, like, the jawline and the neck, right? So, like, this one, you're also looking up. Mm-hmm. But it's not as extreme as this one. Yeah. And I like this one a lot better. Out of all of these, this one's still my favorite.
Really?
Yeah. The mood that you're giving off is kind of strong and a little bit sexy. Like, just a little bit. But it seems like you're powerful. Mm-hmm. Out of all of them, I think this one would be your best go-to headshot. This one's your commercial.
Aha. You are right. It's the one I would tend towards with commercial.
You're smiling, you're super happy, and the background is a lighter than this one, right? Like, this one you're also smiling, but this one is so obvious that this is a better commercial headshot. All right, I'm gonna tell you, I've already told you this is my favorite one. I think this is your go-to one. This is my least favorite.
That's so interesting. There's something about this one that I like, and I mean, again, it's probably just because it's me, but there's something about the lighting in this one that feels really intimate to me. Like, when I look at these other ones, like especially these, like, the lighting is really great. It just, there's something about it that doesn't feel quite as real, maybe? I don't know if real is the right word, but I look at this one and I'm just like, wow, it just feels like I'm right there in the room.
I like the lighting, I like the intimacy of it, but it's, honestly, it feels a little gothic.
Oh, okay.
Like, it feels, maybe it's because we have a gray background and it looks like you're wearing black.
I am.
And because it's like dramatic lighting, it, like, if you were wearing like a colored shirt, maybe it would feel a little less like that for me.
I can see that.
Maybe the darker, gothic, more moody look would be good for character spots, but overall, I don't know if it's my favorite. This is the brutal, honest, right? You can disagree with me. Like, this is all subjective, right?
We'll disagree with each other all the time.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when, like, I don't know, you take some, photographer's or casting director's opinion and you put it as, like, the end-all, be-all. And it's like, no, this is an art, Right. Everyone has their opinion.
And these will change very frequently, so you can't get like too honed down to like what makes this perfect or not, because in 6 months to a year it's gonna change.
Headshot fads are always changing.
So Sierra sent us in 5 different headshots.
Okay,
so we have this one, this one,
wow,
this one.
First impressions, there's just a very big, I think these are a good thing to compare to mine when it comes to like that whole depth of field thing that we were talking about. The whole of her is in focus. And
like maybe a little bit on her shoulder, But
there's
the
a little,
majority,
and a little on the edge of her hair, but
right,
for the most
here.
part, she's completely in focus. Like if you go back to the other one, this one is, it's a much deeper depth of field, but you still
like her
have,
hair is sharp and stuff.
Yeah,
but
you still
her.
have that contrast, and that's the important thing, is that it's really contrasted with the background to the point where, man, you're focusing on her.
Why do I like this one so much?
I don't know. Why do you like it so much?
I think it's because it's like super clean. You know, like this one, we have our jacket, we have like a little bit busy going on in the background.
This would be good for a little bit more of a character shot.
I feel like she could like audition for like NCIS or
like definitely
a detective, you know, like, and the jacket really lends itself to that. I really like her shirt in this one. It gives contrast to her eyes and her hair. This one, we're getting a little bit more character with the glasses, right?
Yeah, definitely more of a character shot. When you're doing different looks, try something like glasses, especially if you wear glasses.
This one, we have a really strong like reflection.
It could be a reflector.
A reflector,
that was used. It could also just be a light. It looks like it was probably a reflector because it is so warm.
It's like the gold side of a reflector.
Yeah, and that's why I'm not sure that I like this one as much, just because of that. Just because as someone who does photography and editing and everything, it looks a little overexposed to me. It looks a little too warm. Lighting that's coming up, you don't want that to overpower the light that's coming from a higher source. Does that make sense? Like,
I'm losing the definition between her chin and her neck, you know? And it's because there's no shadow under there. And I also am not a fan of her eyes. She has blue eyes, but here they're a little bit more gray, and I don't know, it's cutting through her pupils, you know? Yeah,
there's some interesting lights going on like within her eyes themselves, which just isn't as engaging in a headshot. Having like a nice, soft, large light in the eye is like really engaging.
I almost feel like she knows there's a really bright light beneath her, and this eye like is kind of shunning away from it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. So I don't know if this is my favorite. She's very attractive. She has a really good look to her, but I don't know if this is my favorite. Also, we have the dark background, which I'm not a huge fan of. The first one was more of like a 3/4 shot almost, right? Like, let's just go back to it. Yep, 3/4 shot. And this one is more of a typical headshot.
I think it's definitely different than the second one, but it's sort of that same type of, a little more neutral. Although I think in the second one, if I'm not much mistaken, I think she's smiling, isn't she? Like smiling.
This one?
Oh no, she's not. Haha. Okay, so yeah, I don't know. I still prefer the second one over this one.
Why?
It's the eyes. So if you'll go back to the second one, her irises are just popping. Like, got that really light ring in the middle, really makes her eyes pop, and that's what you notice, and that's what you want in a headshot. The other one, like, yes, there's light in her eye, but it's not quite as engaging.
I like the contrast of the red in her hair and then her like blue gray eyes, you know?
Yeah.
And like I feel like her eyes match well with this back here and contrasting everything. While on this one, everything is like earth tones and grays. It makes it feel a little bit more muted. I think it's a good headshot, but I think this one's my favorite.
Yeah, me too.
And but the problem with this is like her hair's in a ponytail too, you know? So depending on what you're going for, you like whether you want your hair to be down and like show the color of it and everything, or in a ponytail.
Like you said before, I think the other one with the leather jacket is a little more like NCIS. You know, you could totally go for something like that.
Out of all of these, which one is your favorite?
I'm going to go with number 2, our ponytail one.
Really? Yep. I think this one's my favorite too.
Great. We're in agreement.
This one's my least favorite.
I would say the same thing. I would say all of these headshots are usable. I would say this one is a little less usable. I thought we saw a lot of good headshots today. We just did 3 people's, right? 3 people's headshots?
Yep. Including yours?
Yeah, including mine. I'm just a little like, oh, putting these out there.
Yeah.
I think this is a good thing to do. Show people your headshots that you trust, that have some kind of, you know, theatrical or film background. If you're just showing mom and dad, I mean, you're their child, so they're gonna have a very different opinion of, you know, how pretty you look in it.
I feel like there's a fine line from getting opinions from someone else on what headshots you should use and which one you feel most comfortable with, because you're going to be holding this as you're walking into the audition, right? And maybe you do need that validation from someone else, but a lot of times you need to do what you feel is best so that when you walk in, you're feeling good. Take our review with a grain of salt, because it's just one opinion and everyone has a different one when it comes to headshots. Yeah. Thank you so much, Courtney, for coming over.
Thank you for having me, Adam. It's been super fun.
Yeah.
We should do this more often.
Yeah, and if you guys want to see more of these types of videos, please like and subscribe. Follow us on all the social media platforms and follow Courtney. Why don't you put a plug for your...
Yes. So my Instagram handle is at Courtney R. Moreland. It's Moreland.
Okay.
Oh, let me do my photography handle.
Okay.
Because I didn't do that one. That's a separate one.
Okay.
It's at Red Rock Photo and Design.
Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. And as always, break a leg.